Hi everybody, this is Father Warner and we continue on Sundays to do our special teachings on catechesis. Why do Catholics? Today we're going to do why do Catholic Cardinals enter conclave? Now last week I spoke to you about why we have a Pope, and just yesterday we have been blessed with 20 new cardinals, two of them being bishops from our very own country of India. I want to congratulate both the new cardinals from Hyderabad and from Goa. We are so blessed and fortunate now to have 5 cardinals representing India. Now, I also mentioned that one of the cardinals' primary duties is to choose the next pope. I'm going to talk about the election process today. Now, when all cardinals under the age of 80 gather together in Rome to elect a new pope, they stay in a building right now. They reside in what is called the Domus Santa Marta, the House of Saint Martha, and this was built by John Paul II. Prior to this, they used to live literally in the corridors of the Apostolic Palace. They would put little curtains or dividers across, and then Pope John Paul II felt, well, this is not working very well. And so he built Domus Santa Marta, the House of Saint Martha, where presently our Holy Father, Pope Francis, lives in a rather modest room. So they stay in Domus Santa Marta while the procedure of voting, which is called a conclave, takes place in the Sistine Chapel. Now the conclave, as I told you, comes from a Latin word conclave, which means to be locked in with a key. This was done so as to prevent any fraud or influence. This was done for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, my history serves me right, with Pope Alexander VI, the Borgia Pope. We had a conclave with that. Now, on the first morning of the elections, all the cardinal electors celebrate Mass in St. Peter's Basilica, and in the afternoon they go to the Sistine Chapel. Sometimes they also have a prayer just before the election in the chapel, which is adjoining the Sistine Chapel. Now, they hear 2 sermons, one before entering the Sistine Chapel and one after they enter. Now, these sermons are meant to generally describe the situations being faced by the Church and recommend the qualities that the Pope should have. Inside the chapel, the cardinals take an oath to maintain secrecy and to defend the freedom and the sovereignty of Rome. After that, except for the electors and a few other officers, everyone is asked to leave the chapel. The words are extra homines, which dismisses all the extras. In short, all the others, please get lost, go out, so that the voting can begin. Now, this is because the election of the Pope is an extremely confidential matter, and after the outsiders leave, the Sistine Chapel is sealed on the outside and the conclave begins. Now, during the conclave, all of the cardinals are given ballot papers with the words Eligio in Summum Pontificem. We have one of these little ballot papers in the Goregaon Museum. If ever you want to come, Cardinal Oswald Gracious brought 3 of these samples, the ones that that were used to elect Pope Francis. He was allowed to take them out because he had not written anything on it. The minute you write put a mark on a paper, they take that paper away from you. So these ballot papers, which have the words, it's a simple card. It says, I elect a Supreme Pontiff, but it's written in Latin, Eligio in Summum Pontificem. It is written on that, it is printed, and then the cardinals are supposed to write a name, but when they write their name, they're supposed to change their handwriting so that nobody really knows whose vote this is. Now, 9 names are chosen by lot to do the work of the election. 3 to count the votes, 3 to collect the votes of the cardinals who are ill and maybe in their rooms, and then 3 to verify the counting done by the first 3. As each cardinal casts his vote, he recites, as it were, an oath. He holds the ballot paper up in his hand so that all can see, and he says, I call as my witness Christ the Lord, who will be my judge, that my vote is given to the one who before God I think should be elected. And then he will drop it into a large, puts it into a plate which he tips and goes into a large bowl. A 2/3 majority is necessary for an election to be declared successful. All the ballots are then burned together with some chemicals. I've seen them. There are two large canisters, one black and one white. So these chemicals produce either white smoke to indicate a successful election or black smoke to indicate a failed one. Now this smoke rises through a chimney which is installed one day before the conclave can begin. If you go to the Sistine Chapel, you will not see this chimney. They actually put this chimney in one day before the election, and it is on this chimney that the cameras of all the news channels in the world are pointed at when the conclave is going on, because everybody wants to see what color smoke is coming up. Now, if the election is unsuccessful, then from the second day, there are 4 rounds of voting daily, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. If a pope has been elected, he is first asked if he accepts the election, and he is free also to refuse. If he accepts, then he chooses a new name and goes to the room of tears. Now, I will explain perhaps in a later video why in detail, why do they change their names, for several reasons, but one of the historic reasons was one of the first popes had, his name was Mercury, which is a Roman god, and therefore you can't have the pope having a Roman god's name. Yeah, so their names are changed, and then they go to a room of tears. Now I must tell you, I have been into this room of tears. I was taken in now by the present Cardinal Zerni, but that time he was Father Zerni. We went into the room of tears along with an Augustinian monk, and there are basically 3 sets of cassocks that are kept, because you don't know what size the Pope is going to be, the new Pope is going to be. So 3 sets of cassocks. He generally prays there. They say it's called the room of tears because while he's overwhelmed literally by the new job that he has to come to terms with what he has just accepted, and very often they are moved to tears. Now after that, he will dress himself up in pontifical robes, which Pope Francis refused to wear. So there are typical robes that he would wear: the monzetta, which he wears around, the stole of St. Peter, the fisherman's ring. I've seen these rings, I've held them in my hands. I was so privileged to have all of this. And then after that, one of the cardinals who is in charge of the conclave will come to the papal balcony, and he will announce that we have a new pope. He will introduce the new pope. This is made from that famous balcony from St. Peter's. So I'll keep teaching you a little bit more about the popes, about the cardinals, about the church, and many interesting tidbits. I hope you do like Why Do Catholics? And don't forget to leave your comments, to share your thoughts. Share this video also with your Sunday school children, because it really helps them to understand why do Catholics. Bye everybody. I'll see you soon. See you tomorrow morning actually at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is with Father Warner.